I think musicians, every time you perform, you have to remember, for some people, this is their night out. If my friends come to my show, this is their night out. So don't get too preachy.
And you're live.
And we're back. Welcome to Saint Aubin Central. Daddy's in the hizzy house, ready to go. He's got his 20 milli vanillis going on of the Addy G, ready to talk. I had the wonderful privilege of seeing Jack White. He's had what a crazy career just from the White Stripes and now doing his own stuff. He played TCU Amphitheater in Indianapolis. I don't know what the capacity is. It's got to be between 5,000 to 10,000. I can't imagine. What a dream! Like if I went to a different city and 100 people showed up, I would shit my pants, dude. I couldn't imagine playing in front of 5,000 to 10,000 people, dude. But Jack White was incredible. That dude is such a performer and such an artist. Like, it's insane. When he opened the show, it was very simple, but just done very, very well. I think one of the biggest things, when he opened the show, he had just like this curtain, and then his band was just jamming, but there was like lights that made him look huge, and just like it looked like chaos. It was so dope. But one of my favorite things about Jack White, and I don't think I realized how much he has influenced me, is that he doesn't plan a set list. And that's awesome. Because you know me, ever since when Saint Aubin started years ago, I was just like, let's just go with the feel. And then my fucking pussy-ass band members would like, I need a set list because I can't remember. But he doesn't use a set list. And it is a special, because you feel like you're getting a special experience. And I would encourage more people to not use set lists because, things can get so routine and rehearsed. But at Jack White's show, it felt like he was giving a special performance based on the crowd in Indianapolis. And that was awesome. But it's so cool because he'll just start playing a song, and then his band just follows him. They have to know. I mean, props to his band. He had a drummer, who the drummer is awesome. All of his kit is like, his snare drum is angled forward, and it's like, it's very weird. But it's interesting. So he had a bass player, a keys player, a synth player, and then a drummer. So it's just 4 of them on stage.
Dang.
And it was unreal. But I was just so blown away. He would just start playing a song, then they would start playing. And the cool thing about Jack White is because he has such a discography, he'll just do medleys of his own songs. So I think he was just like, he was playing like, I can't remember, something from Elephant, and then he just started singing like Blue Orchid, and it was so cool. He played Ball and Biscuit, which is my favorite White Stripes song. But he plays his new stuff. He plays White Stripes. He even played Steady as She Goes. But he was such an incredible performer, and just to see somebody like him who's going to be a legend, But I think the highlight of the show, even though it's not my favorite song, is he ended with Seven Nation Army. That song has just transcended culture. It's this international anthem. I mean, you go to a soccer arena in Brazil, England, like no matter where you are, people just go, and that was incredible to see him do it, like the man who created this whole song, which it's crazy to me because if memory serves me correct, that used to be like a sound check song. Like he would just kind of riff it. And then it became this huge thing. But to see that song performed live was special. And I'll never forget it. People were losing their fucking minds, dude.
I'm jealous. I was gonna get tickets.
It should have gone. The one critique of his show, his like video stuff, some of it was kind of cheesy, and it looked dated.
Okay, I don't want to go anymore then.
So Jack, if you could fix that, that would be great. I think you got the money to hire someone dope. But one of the things that I really appreciated about his show is that he barely talked.
Just did it.
He just did it. He did one like little jokey thing, and it was funny. But he didn't. He said thank you. He didn't do how we doing tonight, Indianapolis. None of that horse shit that every.
You're my favorite city.
Yeah, it's
best
just like
fans.
Don't lie to me. You know, he's not. He doesn't bullshit people. But that was so refreshing because as a lot of people may know, I am so anti musicians talking because one, a lot of them can't talk. They're really bad at talking, and that's fine. Just like know yourself enough to be like, okay, I'm good at talking, or I have something interesting to say, or something funny. Like when people are going to a show, you have to, particularly now, my audience, they all have kids. Like my fan base, all have children. So instead of, in my early 20s, when it cost them $17 total, to get a concert ticket and a $2 PBR, has turned into a $250 night. Because if they come to my show, they have to get a babysitter. And since they got a babysitter, they might as well go out on the town, like go grab a drink, go grab dinner, and then go to the concert, and then probably grab a drink at the concert, and they'll probably drink a lot, so they might as well take an Uber. So, what was a $17 night out became a $200+ night out. Yeah. And I think musicians, every time you perform, you have to remember, for some people, this is their night out. If my friends come to my show, this is their night out. So don't get too preachy. My friends saw Bon Iver, who still to this day, when I saw him in Louisville, was the best show I had ever been to. The way he played his songs, like he changed it up a little bit. He did Skinny Love by himself. And the light show like complemented the show so well. And the crowd was silent, which I've never experienced in my entire life. They didn't talk at all. But my friend saw him, and the dude wouldn't stop talking about Roe v. Wade. Like between every song, he was angry and just preaching. And it's like, if you want to be preached at, go to church on Sunday. Not on my one night out. Musicians can get too preachy. And when you're too preachy, you turn off so many people. I'm fine if you want to get up on stage and be like, hey, this song goes out to this marginalized group of people. That's fine. But if you repeat it, I'm done. You lost me. I don't care anymore. I don't want to succumb to your agenda or your ideology. I came for a night out and just to get lost in sound waves, not your talking points.
Do you think it helps if they're a better musician that they're allowed to preach more? Like, what if they suck?
Well, I mean, it's way worse when they suck, Yeah. And there's so many musicians.
I've been to local shows where like people have been preachy.
Local shows, because it's like, and a lot of local people do it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you haven't earned anything from these people. If you want to talk more, start a podcast. Yeah. No one's going to listen to it.
Exactly.
Like mine.
Yep. It feels like there's something about like a local musician going from like they're hanging out in the crowd with you to they're on like a 1-foot stage, and suddenly it's like they have everything right and they can just preach to you.
And I get it, dude. There's something about a microphone that makes you feel like I'm important right now. Huh? I'm important right now because I have a microphone.
I have a big microphone.
Here's the news flash. No, you're not, dude. Nobody cares about your ideas. People don't even care about your songs. Like, you think they're going to care about your ideas, you know? Like, if somebody plays like 4 bangers in a row and then you say something like, yeah, I'm kind of curious what you have to say.
I will spay and neuter my pets.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. Like, cannibalism is a big deal, you know? But it's just like, I particularly for local people,
Yeah.
you gotta be careful of being too preachy, you know? Know your lane, have good friends who can tell you what's up. Like, I think that's why, like, I'm confident because I think I have good friends who will tell me when I'm off, you know? And I ask. Like, I'm trying to, I got a release show coming up, and I asked a friend who I know doesn't like my ideas. And I asked him, and he told me exactly what I thought he would say. Trevor, your ideas aren't that good. If you want to thrive as a creative, you need to be surrounded with people who will tell you no and that your idea is dumb.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're going to be stuck in la la land thinking you're great, and then when you hit the real world and people are like, "Boo," you're like,
Yeah, watching people who've been told yes their whole life
it's
is
terrible.
really, unsettling.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, local people, don't get too preachy. When you get preachy, nobody cares. Nobody like, you just turn people off. Like, hook people in, be undeniable, and then say one thing. Don't say more. Don't say one, like, more than
Say
one
less.
thing. I agree. I like, less is more, dude. Less is more. I was listening to a Russ. I'm a big fan of Russ, who is such an inspiration. He's completely independent, and he's taking over the world. He's doing a world tour. I thought he's playing in front of like 20,000 people in Saudi Arabia or something. I don't know if it was just one show, but that's insane to be that big. But he has a philosophy: don't do a music video unless a song pops off, which I couldn't agree more with. So many people, I am a firm believer, like, your time is precious, and put energy towards things. Take time to figure out what's working, and then put energy towards things that are working. I think music videos for the vast majority of local, small, independent bands are a waste of time. A huge waste of time. At the end of the day, if you want to do it, go for it. You chase fun. If that's fun for you, do it. But if your goal is to, like, reach a bunch of people, what makes you think that your music video is going to get people to listen to it? Nobody listened to your song. Yeah. Why would they watch your music video?
It's really rare for a music video
to pop. The last music video that I remember popping was Childish Gambino, "This Is America."
Yeah.
That thing was so visceral, you know, but it probably wouldn't have done anything if it wasn't Childish Gambino. If it was some random person. Yeah. Like, I just think music videos for the vast majority are just a waste of time.
I always think about that OK Go song where they did the treadmill dance.
Yep.
And it was like got viral on YouTube. Because I never heard of them before that ever. And then that popped up.
Nobody knows their songs. Everyone knows their music videos.
Exactly. So they're like probably the one of a handful of bands.
There's always exceptions, but you can't use the exceptions as the norm.
I was going to say.
And also, they 10 years ago? When they're, maybe more, 15 time. Years ago.
We're
so
old.
They were also before like YouTube. Ah! Damn. YouTube is like, content creation is a career now.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago was not a career.
It was a social experiment back then.
Social experiment. Yeah. So it's way easier. Mm-hmm. And I have friends, I know people who have spent they spent a ton of money on a music video, and it's cringeworthy. Like,
it's not worth it for 100, 200 views or something.
Not at all. Like, my philosophy for music videos is, if somebody approaches me and will do it for little to no money, 100%. Like, let's do it, But I don't think it's a wise investment to spend, or to get like a professional company to do a music video for you. It's just like the only way to you need to have content. Like keep creating content, but there's way more efficient ways to have content as opposed to like hiring somebody.
Yeah.
If somebody really connects with your song and they want to do it, 100% do it. But to put money into it, music videos are just a huge waste of time. Even though they're fun, it's fun to do. But I mean, the world, it's algorithms and then individual gatekeepers. Like if you want to pop, an algorithm's got to be your friend, or somebody who has a following has to tweet or do a post like, yo, this is actually good. And then, and then you can have a career. But I don't think people they don't understand how to grow, which is funny because I am nobody. But I think I am the building blocks of what I'm doing. I think to make a career, it's a long game, and the goal right now for me is to create as many outlets and touch points for people to find me, and to create a bunch of content. So when that day comes, when something does pop off and people go look up Saint Aubin, they have 100 podcasts to listen to, 250 YouTube clips to watch.
Hours of garbage.
Hours of just hot, steamy doo-doo bags of content to watch.
But it's content.
And then it's like, oh, he streams on Twitch and plays video games. He does all these things. Now, all of a sudden, you solidified yourself. I think one of the worst things that could happen to artists right now is for them to pop when they don't have a solid foundation. But I think, oh man, I lost my thought train. Well, I do this all the time.
There it goes.
I do this all the time. But so one interesting thing I just did, I posted on TikTok, and I've heard this, that if you want to grow, well, this is the difference. Okay, let's talk about this. TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts. This is the main difference between all three. YouTube Shorts, that tends to be culture, like what is pop culture talking about. So when I did videos on Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson or somebody who's like has a hot cultural moment, that's going to grow on YouTube and YouTube Shorts. Instagram, nobody knows what the fuck's going on with Instagram. People hate it right now, and I think I could fix it. But Instagram just seems to be mostly, they just want you to pay money to get reach, which is unfortunate. TikTok just seems to be a quantity. If you post a bunch of videos in a day, or let's say you posted like 5 videos a day on TikTok for a month, I think you would get a few thousand followers easy. So the other day I didn't post any of my podcast clips because I just wanted to experiment. And then in one day I posted 6 podcast clips on TikTok. One of my videos got like 5,000 views. And I grew like 15 followers just in that one day. So I'm like, okay, this does make sense. Obviously, it needs to be decent, but TikTok does seem to be a quantity over quality thing. But so I think if you want to grow on TikTok, create long form content, and then cut it up into clips and post a shit ton every single day. And you could probably, you do that for a year, you could probably get a few 100,000 followers. That would be my guess. YouTube is, that's just, it used to be vlogging. Now it seems to be like adventure things like Mr. Beast or Eric or something like that. Like a lot of people that, or talk about hot topic cultural issues. That's how you seem to grow. Instagram just is a train wreck right now. And I think it's salvageable. Because this is the thing, in my experience with TikTok, and Instagram. With TikTok, I don't feel any loyalty or sense of community on it. And maybe I could be a boomer, so that's for sure valid. But TikTok is very much, um, it just serves you videos. You don't have to find anything. So you can do it. I think I've just started following. I follow like 3 people on TikTok. On Instagram, there seems to be more of a relationship. And I think if you want to fix Instagram, you have to get it back to what it used to be. Instagram, to its credit, it created influencers. Influencers grew on TikTok, or sorry, on Instagram, and it grew. And people had relationships with these people. They could go find stuff. TikTok just serves you whatever your eyes are reacting to. That's all it does. You don't have to follow anybody, and you will just get dopamine hit after dopamine
dangerous app. Oh my god,
it's so dangerous, dude. It is
in.
so dangerous. That's why our youth is like so confused about life.
Oh, I love it,
because it's like that's not how our brains are wired. But I think if you want to fix Instagram, you have to get it back to its core, and that is a community. And you share photos with your community.
I was gonna say you're missing that from TikTok, where someone's just like, "Oh, I'm in this city today." Like,
Yeah,
shout out.
100%.
Like, you don't. TikTok is all like presentation. Like,
Absolutely.
This is what I recorded.
It's just like we want you to stare at the
just
screen.
watch this. Yeah,
That's what TikTok is.
Yeah.
Instagram is I want to feel a part of something, and they've lost that because they're trying to be. I mean, Meta hasn't really innovated since Facebook, and there's a whole movie made about how he basically stole the idea from somebody else. And Instagram used to be, it was the first picture app, which was like a great innovation. Then Meta bought it, and then they started doing stories, which was essentially what Snapchat does. And now they're pushing Reels, and I don't think many people are on Reels as much. And a lot of people they want the photos back, like bring back photos. So I think there's a way you can blend, because the world does seem to be going in a video.
Oh yeah.
Like in a video direction. Static images seem to be less of a thing. But if Instagram wants to be successful, they have to get back to their core of, we want to connect with our friends. We want to connect with our community. And they're looking way too much like TikTok, which is a problem. And they're not really connecting with who they want to connect with.
Yeah, like TikTok, I will follow the most shit accounts sometimes just because their videos are funny or stupid.
Yep.
I don't care who is behind it or like what they're posting about. Whereas like Instagram,
Exactly.
like I follow people because I want to, like, I don't know, even if it's like a stupid meme account, I will still, like, I want to know who they are or like what they're doing. I'll even like message them and be like, I love you, like you're the best.
And that's why you want to grow a following on TikTok, but out of all of the social media apps, I think YouTube is probably the route that if you're an artist and a creative, you should spend most of your time trying to grow on YouTube, because YouTube gives you both short form and long form, but there's a sense of community there, and TikTok just doesn't provide that. Like I think you
YouTube's
just said
the most used social app. Is that right?
I think it's the second most used website.
Oh yeah.
In the world. I think TikTok has the most, or sorry, Instagram still has the most users, but TikTok is getting there. Because I think the problem with short form content is it's a monetization thing. Like you can monetize on YouTube. You can't really do it on short form.
No,
content,
I think at YouTube, people are just looking stuff up all the time.
Yeah,
like, how do I fix this
they're
thing?
looking
Or
up
whatever.
But you said like TikTok, you don't care who created it. You just want to be entertained.
I rarely search on TikTok.
But YouTube, you want a relationship.
Yeah.
You want to belong. And I think that's why if I put all my money on something, it's going to be on YouTube, not on TikTok. Unless TikTok shifts, which they could. Because I think there were studies or there was data on people starting to use TikTok to search things as opposed to like Google. Because I think YouTube is the second most used search engine in the world.
I believe it.
I think.
Sure.
But yeah, so and that's why I think like I'm starting to think more like, okay, like I do have some stuff on Instagram, but I'm like, I really need to grow on YouTube more, which is why like when we have podcasts, that's like let's talk about Andrew Tate because he's popular on that. Let's talk about Trump because it's popular and you can get clicks. Like you can like if you look at my YouTube studio of all the data, just like here's like I talked about marketing, music marketing, like 6 views. But I talk about Jordan Peterson, like a few hundred people, you know.
That's really interesting because it's almost like the thing you might want to talk about is not going to get you that as much popularity fast enough than just trying to figure out ways to squeeze in those hot button issues.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, it's like when I talk about the hot button issues, that's when my subscribers jump up,
Yeah.
you know.
It's more about being first, not necessarily like,
Yeah. But I think my philosophy with that is like it's fun to talk about hot topic issues for me because one, I don't take it too seriously, and I think I'm fairly nuanced. But if you keep doing that for so long, people build trust in you, and then you could start talking about issues that you care about, you know, or build things the way you want to care about them. But I do think like my YouTube channel, it's pretty much just the podcast, and that's a problem because I'm a musician. I'm not a podcaster. I podcast as a musician. So I think I need more musical content or musical elements on the platform to grow. But yeah, I mean, I'm very confident. I think in the direction that I'm heading. I broke 1,000 streams on Spotify, which for a small independent musician, that cursed less than 1,000, it just looks so from an optical standpoint, it looks horrible. But I think so. I released my first single in May, and I think it broke 1,000 streams last month. So May, June, July. So it took about 3 months to get 1,000, which isn't great, like in the real world. But for somebody small, the challenge is like I want to pop, but I'm starting to gather enough data to look, okay, what is successful? Like when we released Losing Control, I think it was in 2018. There's a song on there called Falling Out of Love. I think in the last month it just hit 1,000 streams. So that was 4 years it took. But now I have a song that I released in May, and it took 3 months to get 1,000 streams. So even though it doesn't feel like it, and I think for a lot of smaller creators and musicians, you have to look at things sometimes from like a larger perspective and compare and contrast things. So I'm doing better than I did prior. It took me 4 years, and now it took me 3 months. So now I can look at that. So like for the next the current single that just dropped, like, okay, I got to 1,000 in 2 months. So there's like little things that I can look at just to kind of figure out the data. But I'm really happy. So what I think it's telling me is what I'm doing is right. I think I'm doing the right steps in order to have a career. But I think it's going to take 4 years before I actually get there. And it's hard because I am an artist. I want my work to matter. I want it to be significant. And getting 1,000 streams doesn't feel significant at all. But it's a building block to building some badass empire, dude, where I can just run the world like Andrew Tate, man. I want to be like Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important for a lot of artists to like look at to acquire data, to look at the data. But it's a long road to the top if you want to rock and roll, or a long way to the top. Fuck, I messed that up, but I'm optimistic, man. I'm excited. I think it's I need to really hone in on the data like that like I am actually doing well, as opposed to nobody listens to anything that I do, because that's still true. They don't really listen to it, but they will one day. One day, dude,
they'll all see.
One day Drake's gonna open for me.
That goober.
Dope. I feel good. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. If it's not, just tell your friends to listen anyway. Lie to them. That's, manipulation seems to work well, especially for our government. Zinger, thanks for listening. I'll see y'all. I actually probably won't see y'all. I don't even know who listens to this, but have a good day.